What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com bringing home the bacon NFL DFS video. Second to last chance that we have this year. Divisional round. We're talking all 4 games, all 8 teams, everything. We're going to look at them. We're going to dig into the games. We're going to look at the numbers. We're going to look at Vegas odds. We're going to look at implied team totals. We're going to use SaberSim. We're going to rank each position. And then we're going to build some lineups using SaberSim. So if you have never been here before, welcome to the channel, the stream, the bacon station, the baconator, whatever you want to call it. Welcome, guys. Hopefully, we're here to make you a better DFS player. If this is all you need and you need nothing else to be better, that's awesome. If you need a little bit more help, we do have FTA Plus. We have a ton of NFL content, simulations, projections, chalk, Vegas odds, fantasy points a game, fantasy points per game allowed by each position. We've got a cheat sheet. We have stacks on that cheat sheet, and we go ahead and we build a couple of lineups on there as well for you. So if you need a little bit more help, you can check out FTA Plus. $10 for a week. Check us out if you like it. That week includes a week of every sport. So the current sports we have to offer: NFL, NBA, MMA, and PGA. So go check it out. If you need some things, hopefully we've got you. On top of that, we have an absolutely free Discord. Check the link down below in the description to get in there. We'll show some core plays in there. We go back and forth, and we've got it all. So we're going to break down the slate, and then we're going to break down some of our favorite bets for the divisional round. I'll put that that'll be somewhere in this video. We'll put chapters in here. We will hopefully help you bring home the bacon. So without further ado, let's get started. So looking in everything, we have got great matchups. We have seen some of these matchups recently, but I want to talk about Vegas real quick. So looking at the first game, we've got Houston at Kansas City. We know it's going to be cold. It's Kansas City. Kansas City currently, at the making of this video on Friday afternoon, 8-point favorite with a 41.5 over-under. Now, if we look at what we saw in this game, what was it? Over Christmas? Or week 16, we saw Kansas City 27-19. We saw Mahomes 23.7 fantasy points. So he's had some bad games, but then his past 2 games have been really good, one including against Houston, and that was at home as well. So it's hard to bet against Kansas City, but who is he going to throw it to? Who's he going to hand it off to? That sometimes we do not know. So we just saw this. We liked it. They did just win by 8, so that's the line right now. So that's definitely something to look at. We've got Washington at Detroit. This might be my favorite game all year. It has currently Detroit at 9.5. So you see that and you're like, wow, they think that they're gonna absolutely destroy them. It's got an over-under of 55.5, which you got to get excited about. These are 2 teams that defense-wise, they're probably gonna go for it on 4th down. We could see back and forth. Everyone wants it. I don't know about everybody else, but I would love to see Detroit continue their run that they're on. We know that Jared Goff has a tendency, some game he can throw, 5 interceptions. But we look at game logs matchup-wise. I do like this. I'm trying to see. They have not played each other this year. This could be a shootout. I don't want the defenses in this one. I want the offenses in this one. Whether or not you want to pay up for Amon-Ra St. Brown or Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery is back. There's so many different options to go with. We absolutely love this matchup. So those are the 2 Saturday games. Now we're going to break down all 4 games. We're not going to break it down by day. We're going to break it down by just the entire weekend. So then we get into Sunday games. The Rams at the Eagles. Currently the Eagles are 6.5-point favorites with a 43.5 over-under. We know that playoff Stafford has been just different. We know that Philly's defense has not been the best. We know that Saquon is hopefully going to eat. We've got a lot in this one. So if we look at this one, I think this could be a good one as well. And then we got Baltimore at Buffalo. Baltimore being only 1.5-point favorite, which you gotta like the odds here. You've got over-under of 51.5. You'll like those odds too. So a very high over-under. So another game we do want to target because we know Josh Allen can run in a couple of touchdowns. So can Lamar Jackson. We know Josh Allen can throw the ball, depending on who he's going to throw it to. Khalil Shakir, maybe one of his tight ends, maybe Ty Jones or Ty Montgomery or Tyler Johnson. Tyler Johnson would be one that you could look at as well. So just different ways to go about it, different ways to like everything, and we are going to dig in to hopefully all of them there. So using SaberSim, we can see that Kansas City has an implied team total of 25.9, where Houston has an implied team total of 16.8. You got Washington, 23 implied team total, with Detroit 32.9. You got the Rams, 19, with Philly being at 25.2, and then Baltimore, only 26.3 only, but Buffalo has a 25.4 as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through and we are going to look at our favorite rankings. Right now, depending on where you want to go, these are how I am ranking my divisional round and seeing where I want to go with that one. So, Josh Allen, I have him. I like this matchup for him. I think he's the number one quarterback this week. I am bumping him up to 25 because I want to get the algorithm. I want to get everything through here to show him as number one. Number two, I do have Lamar Jackson. I love this matchup for him as well. Buffalo's defense has not been as good. We know that this game could be a shootout. I'm going to put it at 24.75 for where I'm going there. Number three is Jaden Daniels. I love this matchup. Detroit's defense, not ideal. I'm going to put him at 24.5 because I want to bump that up as well. Then we got Jalen Hurts. Now, depending if you're going to throw to A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Dallas Goedert, Calcaterra, hand it off or throw it to Saquon or run it himself. He has a ton of different ways he can go about it. I'm looking at Jalen Hurts at 23. I want to get exposure in this game against the Rams, which I could see it being a shootout. In my mind, hopefully the Rams go up early so that Jalen Hurts has to throw the ball a ton, playing from behind, getting those fantasy points that we so desperately need here. Next one is Jared Goff, putting him at 22. I think he gets a boost up there. I know he can, a lot of interceptions can be thrown from him, and he's not mobile. He's the least mobile quarterback out of all of these guys. He's going to toss the ball. He's going to hand it off. I think it could be in store for a good game here. So after we've got Goff, I think we got Patrick Mahomes. He does have down games, but lately he has had some good games, double back-to-back, and one was against this Houston defense not too long ago, so I do want to give him a boost up there. I then think it's followed by Matt Stafford. I'm going to put Matt Stafford at 18, and then C.J. Stroud. Now, C.J. Stroud, if we look at this, overall, Stroud, he's 5K. He's very cheap. He's the lowest guy there. If we look at the game logs against Kansas City in Week 16, 18.06. He is $1,000 less now. He has Nico Collins. He has Joe Mixon. He has some targets there. I think he's going to go under-owned. The cheapest guy there, 5K. We got to take advantage of this at some point. I know it's Kansas City defense at home, which is always scary to use, but I think he's in there as well. I'm looking, hopefully, at C.J. Stroud to get a little boost here. Be under-owned a little bit, and we'll take advantage of that. I still think he's up there. I'm going to put him at 17.50. So that takes care of our quarterbacks. We got to get into running backs. Yes, Saquon Barkley, I understand, stud. We know, didn't play last week. Had some time on his legs to rest a little bit. We were all hoping, or he did play last week. He did not play in Week 18. My bad. I was on vacation. I am back now. In that game, still put up 119 yards. Still think he probably could have played Week 18, broke the record, but just wasn't meant to be. Last week against Green Bay, 119 yards. Does have some receptions. Didn't really do much with the receptions. No touchdowns. Still put up 17. So if we look at this for him against the Rams in Week 12, he put up 255 yards on the ground, 47 yards through the air for 49.2 fantasy points. I think a lot of people are going to see this, but I do think Saquon Barkley is in a great spot. To build a competitive lineup, I think we probably have to put him with a C.J. Stroud type stack as our quarterback, but we might be able to build lineups through here using SaberSim that we can use him with a Josh Allen, or we can use him, by himself there as well. So it's definitely one that I'm looking at. Saquon, I think he's at the top. He absolutely just smashed last time against this game. I don't think it's outside of the realm to put him up here at 25. Now, in that same conversation, I'm not saying he is as good, but we've got Jahmyr Gibbs. He has held his own down with David Montgomery being out. Gibbs with Monty being out. I mean, he put up 49 fantasy points last week. 23 attempts, 139 yards, 5 receptions, 31 yards there. Had 3 touchdowns on the ground in week 18 and 1 touchdown through the air. So he had a total of 4 touchdowns without Monty in there. Now, the problem is Monty's coming back, and they do split. That's what scares me a little bit, but I still have Jahmyr Gibbs as my number 2 running back this week. So I'm going to put him at 24. I love what he brings to the table. I think we've got a lot to go there. We do have Derrick Henry. We know what he brings to the table as well. Buffalo really can't handle the run as much. I love David. So if we look at defense-wise, or running back-wise, we look at Derrick Henry. He's the second highest priced guy there. You look at the matchup there. Against the run, the rush defense for Buffalo's been good, but it's still Derrick Henry. He is very hard to contain. If I'm paying up, I might pay for Gibbs and Barkley over Henry in this one. Maybe that comes back to bite me. We will definitely see moving forward there. Number 4 is Kyren Williams. I do think he brings a lot to the table. I don't know if he gets 20 plus. We do look at Kyren here, and we see what he was able to do against Philly back in week 12. 12.2, put up 72 yards, did have a touchdown on the ground, and, been pretty consistent. He's 6,900 in that game against Philly. He was 7,400, so you are getting a $500 discount compared to week 12, and it just really depends on how the game's going to go. So I do have Kyren at number 3 for me, or number 4. Number 5, I've got James Cook. He's going to be down here at 6,700. I think I like what he brings to the table, so I have James Cook at number 5. Number 6 is Joe Mixon. Questionable tag. I mean, I foresee him playing unless there's something that I'm not seeing. Officially listed as questionable for game, blah. Has a very real chance to play. So the only problem with an ankle, he could hurt it again in the game. Then that screws us. That's what would scare me. So looking at Kansas City in that game, only put up 57 yards with 14 yards in the air, 8.1 fantasy points there. The ankle will scare me a little bit, but we will definitely see what the algorithm thinks and what SaberSim thinks. So we will put him at 15 and hope for the best that his ankle is pretty good. Austin Eckler, I want him here. I've got Austin Eckler at number 7, so I'm going to put him at 14.5 because I do want it to boost up a little bit. You always have another one there. Brian Robinson is there. He's 5,300. I think he could be in there. We'll put him at 14. David Montgomery we'll put at 13.99. So we will move to the wide receivers. This week, in order that I do have, I think Amon-Ra St. Brown, I think he feasts. If you don't want to pay up all the way, I get that. But he's 7,200 compared to like Puka. But I got Puka number 2 at 23. He's 7,400. Amon-Ra 7,200. So you save $200 if you need. Nico Collins makes a lot of sense for me. If we look at what he did against Kansas City in that last game, week 16, 13. Didn't really do much. There wasn't a ton that happened. But I think he will have a bounce back here. I think we'll put him at 19. Next up, I've got A.J. Brown. Hopefully he has a better week than last week. Hopefully Brown doesn't have enough time to read a book on the bench. Let's put it that way. 1 reception on 3 targets for 10 yards. Every time we've seen him complain or do something, the next week he seems to bounce back, which I like that matchup. Then against the Rams in week 12, 109 yards, touchdown, 25.9. So I do like me some A.J. Brown here. I want to get he's questionable. That doesn't matter. He's going to play. I'm going to boost him up to 18.5. That brings me to a sneaky one. I think Jameson Williams, if you don't want to pay for Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams could be that deep threat. I know DraftKings has some bets where it's the longest touchdown reception and you share the pot of whatever it is. I think we look at sneaky here. So I'm going to put him at 17.75. I do want some Jameson Williams in there. Maybe sip on some Jameson while I watch Jameson. Devonta Smith is next. It will really depend on if, we got which A.J. Brown we're going to get. We'll see. That is definitely one to look at. So we got Devonta Smith there. Shakir scares me a little bit, but I will put him there at number 8. Next up, number 9, Xavier Worthy. So we look at Worthy here. And actually, I'm going to have Terry McLaurin here. Scary Terry. Put him here. I want to get a boost with Terry there. So those are our top 9, and to round out top 10, I don't know what's going on with Cooper Kupp and the Rams, Matt Stafford, or whatever. I don't know. That scares me a little bit. We do know Cooper Kupp has been, we know who Cooper Kupp normally is. I'll put it that way. Who he's been lately since week 14, he hasn't been much. Against Philly, put up 20, had 11 receptions for 60 yards and a touchdown. Whether or not we get that, and I mean, that was his, outside of that, and then Buffalo, and then a 31.6. It's been a weird year for Cooper Kupp. He's 5,400, so they have priced him down, which could be in our favor. That does scare me a little bit, but I'm going to put Rashad Bateman here at 13.95 to get a little boost for our top 10. We then look at tight ends here. We look at tight ends. Number 1, I think, Travis Kelce. We do know, who has he been the past couple of years in the regular season? Not where everyone's drafted him, but we've got him last week, 22.4. Kind of playoff, or in week 17, 22.4. Had some time to rest. It's now playoff time. The Chiefs are trying to go for the three-peat. I think Travis Kelce will have to ball out in that one. I'm going to put him up at 18. Mark Andrews has been coming on strong lately. Had a very slow start to the season, but has come on strong. I love me some Sam Laporta there as well. And number 3. Number 4, I do have Dallas Goedert. He is questionable, but if he plays, I think he's in a great spot here. Former Eagles tight end, but I'm going to put Zach Ertz. I'm going to bump him up there. I like that he comes in here without a tag. Dalton Kincaid scares me a little bit. We never know who the Bills are going to throw it to. Always kind of waiting to see. They have so many options. They can run the ball, and Josh Allen runs himself. It's always a little bit scary. So those are the rankings for each position that I'm going to look at. I'm going to pause the video while we run simulation or run the lineups. I'm going to do 5,000. Then we're going to show you what lineups we can build with these rankings. Okay, so the number 1 lineup that it likes with the shootout, with the over-unders, with the lack of defense would be a Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders stack against Detroit. Now, if we look at what the stack looks like, Jaden Daniels, he's throwing it to Zach Ertz. He's throwing it to Austin Eckler. My only thing is, or handing off to Austin Eckler. My only thing is the Commanders' defense. Now, we look at that, and it's in the thing of it's a throwaway. It's 2,300. It's the cheapest defense on the table in hopes that it is a shootout, but, maybe Jared Goff throws a few interceptions. That's the only beef that it's got there. You're still paying it for Derrick Henry. You've got Jameson Williams, which I love in this one. Nakua. You got Devonta Smith. You got Mark Andrews. I mean, this could be in store for a good game there. So if that's what we're looking at for the number 1, that's okay. So if we look at the number 1 with Josh Allen, because he's our number 1 quarterback this week, the crazy thing is he's number 1, and he could do it without having to stack anyone. And that's exactly what they did, because he can do it with his legs. He can throw the ball, but he can also run in a couple of touchdowns, which is awesome. So you got Josh Allen, you got Jahmyr Gibbs, you got Austin Eckler, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Devonta Smith, Rashad Bateman, Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews. Literally all of those could have touchdown implications as well, which we love. And then again, it's loving the Commanders' defense as pretty much a throwaway in hopes that they get some interceptions or fumble recoveries, which you never know what's going to happen with them. So if we want to look at the other game with the shootout, and the other side of that would be Lamar Jackson against Buffalo. You've got Lamar throwing it to Mark Andrews. Then you got Eckler, Barkley, which we love. We want to pay up for Barkley this week. Nakua, Devonta Smith, Khalil Shakir, Dallas Goedert, who is questionable, Mark Andrews, and then the defense for the Commanders as well. If you want to get even crazier, and we talked about this because he's so cheap and could be sneaky, CJ Stroud. Now, I'm very curious. We do not have Saquon with them, but we got Stroud thrown to Nico Collins. We've got Jahmyr Gibbs and Eckler for our running backs. We've got Amon-Ra St. Brown. You got Devonta Smith. You got Goddard, who's questionable, Mark Andrews, and the Eagles' defense against the Rams, which I'm okay with as well. I don't love the Eagles defense, but when there's only 4 games and 8 teams and 8 defenses, you gotta find some defense there as well. So I'm gonna do the same exact thing. Those are just some of the DraftKings. I'm gonna do the same exact thing. I'm gonna pause it, get the FanDuel ready. Okay. Pretty much following the same pattern as I did with DraftKings. Love some Jaden Daniels here on FanDuel with the pricing. You've got him throwing it to Terry McLaurin and Zach Ertz, which I love Scary Terry this week. You got Pacheco, who we didn't even talk about in the top 10 running backs, because the thing is, we really don't know what's going to happen. With Kansas City's offense, it's the only thing that scares me. We look what he did with Houston against Houston. He did nothing, 3.5. He really has not done anything since week 2. So he started off very well, got hurt, and then maybe they knew they were so good, they're going to the playoffs. They were easing him back in, and now we see playoff Pacheco. We see week 1 and 2 Pacheco. Everyone's off of him. No one's talking about him. He's 5,500. I don't mind him whatsoever, but be careful because, again, he hasn't done much this year. David Montgomery, you got Worthy also with Kansas City. You got the Chiefs defense as well. So if we look at what the Chiefs defense did in that game against Houston, put up 7. So not the best, not the worst, and -4 against Denver is what they did. But again, playing from behind, none of their stars were playing, so you can't use that one. You can't really base anything off that one. But you see they've had some games, at home, 11 there. 21 was in Cleveland, but that's Cleveland. So the crazy thing is their best games basically came on the road. So use that information how you see fit. That's number 1. So if we look at quarterback here, and we go with Josh Allen, I want to see what kind of lineup you can build on FanDuel with Josh Allen. So you got Josh Allen thrown to Shakir. You have Saquon Barkley, which I love. You got Pacheco. You got Montgomery, Nakua, Bateman, Travis Kelce, and the Chiefs defense as well. So I don't mind that lineup. Again, when you see these lineups, pause the video so you guys can write these down and use them if you see fit. Would love to know these lineups. How do they compare to yours? If you want to compare lineups, you can always hit up our Discord, which is completely free. Everyone loves to go back and forth and see what people are building there to help each other out. Be a great community. Now, this is a weird lineup, but this could work. It's got both Montgomery and Gibbs in running back, Lamar Jackson throwing it to Bateman and Mark Andrews, Chiefs defense against Houston again, and Saquon Barkley there. So I don't mind that one either. It's I kind of like that one. So we look at that. One we haven't talked about is Jalen Hurts. Hopefully they're playing from behind, but you got Jalen Hurts handing it off to Barkley, and that's it because we really don't know what he's going to do. Tush push, he could also get a couple of touchdowns himself. You got Montgomery, Kyron Williams, Worthy, Nakua, Shakir, likely, Barkley, and the Chiefs defense there. And then we'll look at one more. Curious what a Stafford one looks like against Philly. What did Stafford do against Philly last time? Week 12. 19.22 at 5,800. He's now 5,200, coming off 16.26 at 5,700 against Minnesota. In that game, he only completed 19 passes. In the game against Philly, completed 24 of 36. So if they are playing from behind, he could be a sneaky option as well. You got Stafford throwing it to both Kupp and Nakua. I don't think a lot of people will be on that stack. And handing it off to Kyron Williams. You got David Montgomery. You got Laporta. You got Barkley. And you got the Lions defense, which I don't know if I like that as much, but again, got to get creative with these defenses in this division series. So there you have it. There's the breakdown for DraftKings and FanDuel. If anyone has any questions about Yahoo, not very many of you play, but if you do, I'll try to answer them in the Discord down below. Now let's talk sports betting. So a lot of things have gone through. We've done simulations. We've done projections. Here are the top 10 most likely touchdown scores for the divisional round. Number 1 is Derrick Henry. The AI loves Derrick Henry in this matchup. Loves him, number 1. Number 2 is Jahmyr Gibbs. Hopefully David Montgomery does not vulture anything from him, but that is always a chance. But Gibbs, number 2. Number 3 is Saquon Barkley. Could have had one last week. He held up, laid down, and ended the game, but he is there. Number 4 is Josh Allen. Would not surprise me if he's the first touchdown scorer in this game. Would not surprise me whatsoever. Number 5 is Kyren Williams. 6, Amon-Ra St. Brown. 7, Xavier Worthy. 8, Lamar Jackson. Number 9, Kareem Hunt. Could be a sneaky option. We didn't even talk about him. But we had Hunt in this matchup against Houston last time. He's 5K. He did 55 yards and a touchdown. So he's a sneaky one. The odds of him to score a touchdown are going to be better than all the other starters, considering he's not a starter. Technically not a starter, but with this Chiefs defense, you never know what's going to happen. Always could. Pacheco could run 99 yards. Kareem Hunt could come in, vulture that touchdown there, and you get some plus odds there. And then number 10 is Mark Andrews. If we look at what Mark Andrews was able to do this year, started off the year doo-doo. Couple of games, didn't even record a catch. Wild times. Absolutely wild times. Then he had a streak there, so did not score in week 19, but he had a streak of, 6 games straight of a touchdown. We look at this when they played Buffalo this year. Did they play Buffalo this year? I feel like they had to have. They did. That is one of those games where it was early in the season. He didn't record any stats, which is a wild thing, but he has really turned it on. So we've got Mark Andrews, number 10 there. If we're looking at hit rates, so these are rates of players that have hit in at least the past 10 games, and at least 8 of the past 10 games. So if we look at that hit rates wise, if you're looking at certain different bets you want to take, Austin Eckler, rushing and receiving yards, 50 plus. Take that combination. I like that here. You got Nico Collins, longest reception. If you have a book that has longest reception, 25 plus yards. Would not surprise me if he goes way off, way more than that. DeAndre Hopkins, 25 plus receiving yards total. I think we see the ball spread around. DeAndre Hopkins could get that for you. Jared Goff, passing completions. They don't think there's going to be much defense in this game. 20 plus pass completions should be easy for him to hit. If you want to pair that with Amon-Ra St. Brown at 6 plus receptions, would not surprise me to see Amon-Ra get at least 10 targets in this game. 6 plus receptions, not out of the ordinary. Travis Kelce, 5 plus receptions. We're going to see playoff Kelce here. I do think we're going to see playoff Kelce, so 5 plus receptions here. Wouldn't surprise me to see 10 plus targets for Kelce. Jameson Williams, 3 plus receptions, and Jahmyr Gibbs, 1 plus touchdown. This has an 80% hit rate, so 8 of the last 10 games, all of these have hit. I am taking it in those games there. And then what we saw, that's what I wanted to look at. So looking at that, I love those hit rates there. And then if you want to see maybe we can build a parlay here. This is on FanDuel because they've got the option, and I don't know about other books like BetMGM and stuff like that, but they've got either or touchdown scores here. So a 4-leg parlay, as of the making of this video, it's got 942 plus 942 odds. Travis Kelce or Nico Collins to score a touchdown, minus 155. Amon-Ra St. Brown to score a touchdown, minus 135. Jalen Hurts or Puka Nacua to score a touchdown, minus 250. And then Mark Andrews to score a touchdown, plus 160. If you were to bet $30, you could turn that into $312.73 or $312.73 with the odds of 942. And on top of that, if you find some boosts on FanDuel or DraftKings, you can even boost that up, which is going to put that over 1,000 odd there. So if you guys don't have an account on DraftKings or FanDuel, I will link the sportsbook accounts down below, and you can check that out as well. And then for other good measure, if you want to look at another 4-leg parlay right now, plus 1657 for both games, or for both days. Nico Collins to record 25, and this is on FanDuel as well because certain books have different ways to go about it. So FanDuel, Nico Collins to record 25 plus receiving yards in each half, minus 110. Jaden Daniels to record 100 plus passing yards in each half, plus 130. Kyron Williams and Barkley to combine for 200 plus rushing yards, plus 105. The odds on that is wild at plus 105. And then Josh Allen to record 25 plus passing yards in each quarter. Each quarter, not half, minus 105. Turn $30 into $527 on FanDuel. The link to sign up will be down below. Now, I did forget to mention, anyone who watches this video, we will do this for the breakdown for the Conference Championship next weekend. So like this video, be a subscriber, and leave a comment. If this video gets at least 50 likes, you will have a chance to win a free week of FTA Plus. 100 likes on the video, a chance at a free month. 150 likes, a free year. 200 or more likes on this video, a chance at a lifetime pass. So let's have a fantastic Week 20 or divisional round for the NFL. We'll be back for the Conference Championship, and then we'll always be in the Discord to give some bets out there for Super Bowl or anything else your heart desires. So that's what I've got. Good luck in this weekend, whether or not you're playing DFS, whether or not you're sports betting. Let's bring home the bacon together. Let's show the wins. Let's have fun. Let's just have a great semi-end to the 2024 NFL season, and we're inching our way closer to MLB. We still have NBA. NASCAR's back in about a month, and we've got PGA. Got it all for you. Good luck. As always, let's bring home some bacon. Peace.